Hello everybody, welcome to episode 4 of Energy in Motion. Today I'm here with the man, Karie, a very talented and popular musician in Birmingham. Karie specialises in music, but he also does trading. He has his own business as well, businessman. I do digital marketing. Obviously I host a show, I host an events brand. I'm working just a bunch of other stuff, doing freelance work. We're going to go straight into it. Karie, how did you get into music?
I got into music by it just being around me all the time. Like my mom, my dad, just being in the back of my mom's car. My mom's car was that loud one down the road, blasting music with the Jamaican flags everywhere. Just from Celine Dion to Barry Hammond to, I'm forgetting the names, but hardcore bashment to the loveliest R&B really, so I did get widespread, and it was a nice way to express myself as well. I was always a creative. Okay. I started dancing, and that's connected to how I do music also. So yeah, it was just a nice avenue. I was very skilled at it as well, and it was just the most comfortable, so I continued. So
when did you start recording and that kind of thing?
I recorded a Play song in year 10 the first time. But I started recording properly like 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like trying to sharpen skills really. Like there's so many avenues when you first get into music. It's like, okay, first, who do I like? Who am I? What do I want to sound? You just, hit the iron every day. So around 7 years.
Who would you say influenced you to do music?
My main avenues for influence are definitely the ultimate ones come from, I'd say, Lil Wayne's lyricism, and within that, just his ability to just literally identify a way of saying something unique and banging it. It's weird. Yeah. And I say Erykah Badu. I've only heard Didn't You Know and On, Too Tough. Okay. And I'm as big as a fan as if I heard everything. Because of the way she didn't want to really mix anything, but I don't want to go into that. But the point is, she understands like the imperfection that has to be in music and the feel, I guess. Yeah. So that, and I have to say Drake. A part of me cries when I say that. Yo, that like
I feel you, man.
I know, I feel you. But bro, listen, when I heard Lil Wayne saying some sick shit, then I heard this man like explore emotions for young men and men in general in a way where we didn't know how to outside of music. So I was like, wow, it's hard chance to rap all of that, but at the end of the day, those are avenues. But I'm my biggest inspiration because those are avenues I take from, but
you made your own.
Yeah. But I've been able to make my music where do you know when you love an artist and it just feels like this artist, like they know me. It feels like they know me. It feels like we spoke. Yeah. I've like somehow done that with myself, so it's like So when I listen to my own stuff, I have to listen to my favorite artist to then come back and be like, what?
Yeah, I think definitely, because if you think about it, you are your own energy source. Like, obviously it's good to have some external influences, but when you're creating, the way you're able to drive new sounds forward, do new things, is your intuition. You know, the intuition's the main thing. Like, you can take all the influence you want from artists and stuff, but they can't force you to get in the studio and do it. Like, you do that yourself. You decide to take things you want and like piece them together, I guess.
It's definitely that, and it's kind of a simple equation, because whilst taking, it's like if you take, is what can I add or take from this? Because you always want to break or make what you're using. If you want that unique feel. Yeah. If you would add to it. If you take from it, take from it. I'd say. Thanks for having me as well, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. Of course.
You greeted me, I wanted to greet you too.
No, the
WPG.
conversation had to happen, man. Conversation had to happen.
Come on.
Yeah, so what are you currently working on in terms of music?
I have been working on this tape. I'm calling it a catalogue.
Yeah.
I heard the word catalogue since the Yellow Pages. It's a catalogue of just. It's a catalogue. It might be a time capsule. It's the period where I knew I had a lot of learning to do. So it's just a tape where I've kind of captured my main points, main feels, and that's what I'm working on now. Something certain did happen where something unfortunate, which is happening now, but it's kind of like bittersweet. This happening allowed me to, and what happened was I lost my Mac, left my Mac on the bus. So even the absence of like the Mac and the music and like refining the tape, that thrown me into trading more.
Yeah.
I started it before, but it really threw me to trading more. Like, yeah, so I can't complain. So in terms of working on music, definitely working on that. I wrote some band lab last night as well. My brother put me on. So yeah, trust me, music did it, man.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well with music is like anything's an inspiration, anything's like an influence. Like, you know, you having certain setbacks and having different situations that are going to provoke certain emotions, that could influence like a whole new track that you're doing or a whole new direction for, you know, the project that you're doing.
Literally. And that's why I said bittersweet, because even when speaking to Doma about it previously, I've always said, okay, it's finished. But I always find myself going through something else, feeling like, okay, add. So it's definitely, it's just, I'm practicing my relationship with time as well, on a bigger scale. So to answer the question even deeper, the music's here already. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, like when you feel it's aligned for you, when you feel ready to, you know, push it out. Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
so how, in terms of things falling into your lap, like bad situations falling into your lap and becoming a blessing, like what have you been through something in this month or this week that you feel like first felt like, oh shit, how then the thing that was bad became a good thing? Yeah,
I think because a lot of what I do, like I'm sort of doing by myself, like the different things that I'm doing. So a big thing for me, I guess, has been, I'd say, efficiency. Efficiency was the main thing that I work to do, because I'm working on 5 or 6 different things at the same time outside of my career. So every present moment counts. Time is a concept. Time constraints are put there to create mental blocks in your mind, and they can make you rigid, they can make you think, they can actually reduce your frequency in the moment as well. Because when you're held down to a time constraint, unknowingly you could act differently, you could try and say things more quickly or rush things or take too slow. So for me, it's just seeing the present moment is the only moment, and it removes the constraints in my mind for when I'm working. Just focus on like action and things was, I guess, a big thing for me that I've learned.
That's what happened to me too. The best way to put it is like actions can change generations, and that's literally what the term choice for freedom ultimately means. This is relating to investing, I guess. And just a choice for freedom. Cal, if I wanted you to paint my house tomorrow, I'd say I'll pay you. The reason why you'll paint the house is because you're using your time, energy, and effort. Yeah. So that's what the money represents. So most of us, I guess, we're in a position we're born in a financial cell. I'll say physically born in a financial cell, where ultimately we kind of have to use most of our time, energy, and effort to work for the money, which that is. But what was I saying? A choice for freedom, action. So basically, what the action is the choice. We're born in the financial cell physically, but the freedom's in our mind. Okay. So the choice for freedom is action in the investment maybe you definitely use less of your time, energy, and effort doing things for others, other people's payments. How do you feel about? Because we speak about this a lot. Don't you enjoy how the way or the direction the creative industry is going in terms of artists being able to like do more, and the more things they do have value?
Streaming, killed the creativity of artists for so long, and I think over time it's naturally just like, this is like the fight back right now. Like his early mixtape, he put it out again. He sold 160,000 in physical units. That hasn't happened in like 2 or 3 years. Ye did the same as well, and a couple of other artists did it. So I think if the fans love the music enough, they're going to buy it from you. Like, say for example, you're an artist in Birmingham, right? Imagine you have a fan base of 100 followers, but you know that 50 of those people are going to buy every track that you release. So when you put it onto a distribution service and you sell it directly, if you want to charge £5 for that song and you know they're going to play it, if you think about it, that's going to make 50 times the amount from streaming. Say for example, you release a track on streaming, and it gets streamed 500 times. You're going to make like 50 pence from 500 listens. But if you have 50 people, which is 1/10 of that amount, who pay £5, you can make £500 from that, and that's like 2 weeks worth of wages for a normal job.
And it does the artist a favor as well, because it's literally turning your listener into a client, and it puts you in a position to give your listener more things that they enjoy. It kind of is a pro.
Yeah.
It's raw pro because the listener gets more involved with the music. So
how would you say that you yourself have overcome creative block when working on music, or creativity in general?
So I've had blocks where I forced it, and it didn't work, and I had blocks where I forced it, it worked. The hardest, the best shit I ever made. And I had blocks where I didn't force it, and and nothing happened. And I had blocks where you force it, you make something, but you just don't like it. Then you force it again, you make something you don't like, you force it. So from all those experiences, I've realized that just use time as an asset. So what I've realized in a creative block is subjective. So if I'm writing a song, I start a song now that I have goals for, but I'm blocked. When I keep coming at this song, I'm still blocked. But if I'm making another song about something else, over time being blocked, I've realized, you can, so it's not a whole block. You have to just keep exploring the block again to get to know it, and then you just work around it. Yeah. So if now when I'm blocked, it don't feel like a block. It feels like, so now how I view a block now is like, just maneuver it. So if I'm blocked in this song, maybe think about the video concept, or trade, or learn a new thing, or because at the end of the day, it's a creative flow that flows. You can't block creative flow. If I can't write a verse right now, I'll go play basketball, get my juices flowing, come back, smoke a zoo. You know what I'm saying? You can't beat yourself up for being human. So the blocks, that's why there's a black half in the yin and yang sign, and it's just shit just happens. So that's a block to me.
Yeah, I think separations. I think separation's a big thing as well. Like even in separation in terms of thought, separation in terms of action, like the different things you're doing in the day. I think being able to create separation in your own mind from the thoughts and the action is also a big thing in creativity. Like if I'm working on a plan to market product and I'm trying to like force the ideas to come out, and it can become like a cycle. Yeah. I think a creative block is like you'll have like a moment of self-doubt, or you're trying overly hard to think of something creative, and then it'll sort of become a cycle. I think what separation does is it breaks the cycle. So if a cycle's the thing that's keeping you in a loop of like, I don't know what to do, how am I going to do this, I don't have the energy to do this, just making the separation between each thought that comes your way, I think that's a big.
How do you create that separation for the people?
Well, thoughts, I view thoughts like design. You design your own thoughts, you design the perception of your own emotions. Everything's design really. So if you're designing every thought that you have, you want to focus on how am I creating this thought? What's fueling me to want this thought? How am I creating this emotion? Is something making me feel this emotion? So you sort of like, you're questioning yourself but in a positive way. You're creating clarity as to why. Yeah, so like, and if you think about it, if you can understand why you're making a thought, then you can take the power away from it if you don't want it. You can give power to it if you want to have more thoughts like that. So it's sort of like the separation and you asking yourself these questions, you're making yourself a beacon for new ideas to happen.
I totally understand. I totally agree with that, and it does relate back to the writer's block thing, because whilst we're speaking, I did think there were times also where it's funny where I'm blocked, but there's a responsibility there, like, oh, you know, it's like, I know this ain't a block where you leave, you don't leave this one, you continue throughout that, but again, that comes with a sense of just reflection, and with reflection you have to look into some face to face, so yeah, it's just like helping artists understand that they're not alone in the friction when it comes to breaking through.
How would you say you self-reflect? Like, if you were to say to the audience, like, what would be the best method for self-reflection?
I like that question. So, listen, I was born in the most chaos ever, right? So I spent majority of my life trying to figure out how everything makes sense. So when I thought, I knew that God said, yo, here's the joke, chaos still happens. So in terms of reflection, I was trying to understand how everything made sense, because I thought there was a right way to do things, and as long as I'm on that right way, then I could never be wrong.
Okay.
So understanding that things don't have to make sense logically, even though it's right in a sense, because now that's subjective. The reality is chaos happens. So going back to reflection again, I think I'm saying this point because you can reflect when you're right and be wrong, and when you're wrong. And the point I'm trying to make is, if you're trying to reflect on something, you're trying to know if you're right or wrong, but how do you know what's right or wrong? Because it's so subjective. So you need a solid reference to know, even if you're reflecting accurately. So so my point is, God, I guess God helps me reflect a lot. Just knowing Christ's way, or how, you know, his responses, because I feel like there's most of the truth's definitely there. And in terms of reflection, okay, that's why I said all of that right and wrong stuff. I feel like that's mainly the right way. So, because realistically, upon reflection, you can find someone that argues for you or against you anywhere you go. So
that's true.
I can't be the one that dictates whether I'm right or wrong. It's bigger than me. So that's my reflection, basically. Okay. Yeah. I don't reflect against myself. I got urges. I got bias.
What would you say your approach is like to creativity?
My approach is to feel it out. When I listen to the music that I love, there's certain parts of the music that feel the best, or that I like more than some, or maybe the whole song feels the same. But the common denominator to me is the feel. The lyrics and everything else is important, but it's that feel. So when I approach making music, bro, I want to enjoy the music. I'm trying to dance, you know, I'm trying to do my two-step too. I'm trying to feel, trying to smile. Like now I'm trying to just thinking about it to get me. So that there's I'm trying to invoke that really.
So like you wanna have the feeling first, and then you want everything else to come to you naturally. So it's like your own sort of like creation.
Yeah. Like making soup or porridge.
Would your advice be to creatives that are trying to come into just the creative industry in general?
Definitely do your best to keep your artist self and your self as close as possible. Honestly, trying to sign to major labels.
Okay.
Then you'll be on 6ix9ine. But yeah, man, like if you love doing, if you're an individual who loves doing art, and you become an artist, be that individual that loves doing art and do that, and always remain your biggest self-critic, but you can't just call yourself that. Yeah, you have to be honest with yourself and like be your main critic, and then push forward like that, and that's how you'll always be impressed with what you do. But yeah, man, just have fun, and it's always fun. It's always fun.
Yeah.
It's fun when you're trying to reach higher heights. It's fun when you get there. It's fun when you're stressed over a verse you need to write. You know how many times I remember doing a tape, right, and this geezer came in with a mad verse. Bro, I heard it, I was like, no way, what am I gonna write? I was thinking, oh my, because it was on some rage tape, so I've never done rage, so it was the first time, so I was like, yo. So it even put me in a new space, even like performing the music, I had to be in a new space, mentally, energetically, I had to turn up. Learned a lot doing that, but so imagine going in the deep end and then you just have a whole verse to write, and I'm stressed. But that was I can only say this now, that was fun.
Yeah.
It was. Got the verse done. It was one of the best. I've never, and that's the beauty about the downtimes. You just don't give up in the downtimes, because what you come out with after pushing through is worth smiling for. In terms of approaches, what's your favorite approach to creativity?
Yeah, I think for creativity, I think there's a lot of different ways you can approach it. I think for me, it just comes from, like, I think to myself, like, what do I want to put out into the world? And then obviously there's going to be different things that sort of relate to what I'm doing. So you can sort of take different inspiration from different places and just modify it to, I sort of just like modify it to how I feel, or I'll see something that I like and I just want to, yeah, I can take like an idea from anywhere. If I see an idea of, like, I don't know, how someone has inspired someone to do something, I could then take that concept and then I could put it into like a business idea or something like that. So I think actually, like, witnessing different powerful things that are happening, and then you can like sort of allocate it to your own self. Are you able to focus when you find inspiration? So say if you see inspiration somewhere, how do you then put that into what you're doing in a way that's actually focused?
That question is so good, bro. I love that question, because that question makes it seem like there's a lot of ways to art. That there's ample ways to focus, isn't it? There's one way to focus. That's another thing I learned creating as well. It taught me subjective and objective. Like, the subjective part is being as creative as you can, new ideas, whatever. The objective part is like doing the music, like making it and doing it again and again and again and again. So in terms of how do I stay focused, there's only one way. If you're running, for some reason today I can't list, my short-term memory is dead. But anything you're trying to do that needs focus, there's one way to focus. Timing energy over time, I guess. Energy used in a specific direction to a goal over time, really.
Okay.
How we define that. So
you're saying, like, repetitions, like the more you do something over and over again, the more it makes you like focus on.
To expand, I mean, that everything that falls under focus. So if I find like a great idea now and need to make this song, the focus part is separate from everything else. That's the objective part, that nothing is bigger than us.
Okay.
In order to make this shit happen, I can't do this, eat, cook, message, bro, I just have to be there with it alone, doing it. So that's part of the creativity that if it feels like work, but when you make that routine, it's amazing. I fall in and out of that, but you'll still love the journey. It's amazing. That's what I mean. It's just a whole journey.
Yeah.
But focusing is
Okay. What is your sort of take on balance? How important do you think balance is, if you believe that to be true, that you can have that in actually creating things in your day to day?
I like balance. Balance is very important. I feel like balance is very subjective to the makeup of an individual. Some people find themselves in the best places they've ever been in when they've made their lives very imbalanced and they've hit such a low where they cannot go lower. Bang. So wait, what? Some people can't even allow that to happen, but before that happens, they've always kept balance. So I guess one of the main things that keep recurring is knowing thyself, just really knowing who you are, because there's things that's very subjective where if I answer it absolute, someone who ain't built a certain way will be like, oh, I should. Know yourself, and then we can, you know what I'm saying? So balance is definitely important though.
Okay.
Balance is important, but maybe we can speak for ourselves that there's a time in life where maybe I took longer to do certain things because I had too much balance in life. And it was when shit went left, you start moving. So balance for me wasn't the one then.
Yeah, I think with balance as well is like, I don't think there should really be. I think if you're doing something that aligns with you and aligns with what you want to do, there shouldn't really be a lot of balance, because most of your time should be dedicated to working towards that if you want to be the best at it. I feel like trying to juggle different things, even having that like, there's like a backbone in your mind of like, I have to do this at this time, I have to do this at this time, am I doing enough of this? Like, you can't physically balance everything and expect to, hit the number one at what you're trying to do. So
I'm trying to have more focused days as well. Like I remember he mentioned to me like having, what was it, like a week or so of just like one thing, and then the next week's one thing. But I need to try that still. That sounds nice. Like a week, like 1 week of this, 1 week of that. There's only that. And
because it's better trying to have like, I might have 10 minutes a day to it, or I'm gonna have half an hour each day, than just having like, okay, a whole week. I want to work on my business, I want to work on my creative craft, so I'm gonna spend a whole day, a whole week doing this, and it's just all I'm gonna do. And then you're gonna get a much better result than just trying to, do a bit here and then a bit this day and a bit this day. It's like, you've just really gotta deal with maybe there's gonna be discomfort, or maybe you feel like you want to see family more, or you want to do this more. But at the end of the day, if you don't want your goal to be subjective, then you can't be too subjective, because the result that you're going to get from it is only going to come from the actual work that's taking place. So
and that's the thing, so those weeks is mad, because then just have them recurring.
So you think that's something that you're trying to work on then, is just like how to actually manage your time?
Yeah, I want to manage it better in a way where I don't feel like I manage it bad now, because I leave things to time. Like I'm working on my relationship with time. So it's going good so far. Like even when bad stuff happens, I'm using it for other things. But what you said, bro, imagine using a week to do music, then the next week. It's kind of hard to do that with trading, innit? Like a week, but you can do, you know what I'm saying? Like just a week for that, then a week for that. Then if you had got 3 main things, you just start again on music, then throughout the year, throughout months, bro.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
That's good. But yeah, time management is definitely a thing.
Where do you see yourself going with music in the next 5 years?
So I really love how my music's coming along, because when I first started it, I seen a lot of money coming from it, but I also seen my message getting to people. As the years went on, I'm seeing less money coming from it, but I found somewhere where I know most of my money's coming from, and I still love doing music. and I still have a message. So the music's literally only getting more developed as I get developed, more experience, more everything. Hence why it's taken so much time. Hence why I'm not in a rush, despite the time it's taken. Because it's worth, bro. Life's happening. So it's just not, you know what I'm saying? It's here, but for the next leg, when I start to release and push out, it's gonna feel like what it is. So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I think the thing is as well is like, you can't try and, I think adaptability is very important when you're actually doing creativity, because you could plan the next 2 years, but then you could put something out and have an opportunity the next day that will just re-script the whole next year of what you're doing.
That's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
So like, if you were to say to the audience, like how important, how do you go about being adaptable yourself, and how important would you say adaptability is for being a creative?
It's a good questions. Acceptance has it in between, that is an equal sign, and then you got letting go. Adaptability. In order to adapt, you either have to do something or let something go. It's accepting that this situation calls for this major action. Now, if not adapting is not taking the necessary objective action of if you have to adapt, you have to leave or take.
Okay.
So it's just just perception. Like that's a perspective. Yeah.
Perception plays a big role in creativity. However you perceive yourself determines the quality of the outcome you're going to get. It determines what the process is like. How important do you think it is for the audience to make sure they perceive themselves in a way that is, helpful to what they're actually trying to create?
That's a mad. What kind of questions? Okay, how? Because you know what? Like that's where the magic happens, but that's when the destruction happens. You ask me how can we make sure the audience, bro? The reason why most of the music sells is because the audience seems like they don't have that power to make sure they're taking in anything that. It's like most of the audience don't know their goal themselves. To if you know you're trying to lose weight, your goal and what you're taking is, I don't know, healthy food, innit? It's like if you use that principle, most of the audience taking in stuff. Because if you're asking me how can I make sure, I just got to do my 100%. My 100% on the scheme of reality is just 50. And then you do your part. So my 100% is making the music, that's 50 in terms of. And if my music has a message or, something that's positive or not what the masses is, it's out of my hands. I can't make sure. I just got, you know what I'm saying? So much and no more. So it always goes back to just knowing thyself, because to answer for the audience.
Has there ever been a time, like just in general, like overall, like where you felt maybe like a self-limiting belief about yourself or something like that? How would you overcome that? How did you overcome that?
Most of the doubts come from when I start something new or something that I felt good about first. Because I'm not a person who doubt myself before I start something. But for me to start, that's all the faith I have to understand that it will happen. So over time dealing with doubts, I'm realizing that it's a fear, which is natural. It's an impulse. If you place a bet, you can win or lose. So it's just a fear, but I've just identified the doubts, because I don't doubt listen. I don't doubt myself naturally, but doubts do come in, and I have to deal with them naturally by understanding that my action, like I don't know, again, subjective. For me to action something, the reasons are valid. So if I started something, I can only doubt after that. Whilst I continue, and plan ahead. But in terms of doubting myself,
what sort of things would you use to overcome doubt mentally?
Perspective, everything. You ended the sentence with mentally, bro. Mentally. We were born in a financial cell. The freedom's in our head. You know how deep that is. A man will tell you he left prison 20 years before he physically left the building. need a minute to, bro. That's deep. So it's a lot to do with perspective. It's your action comes from how you think about things. Like even now, I'm at home doing calisthenics because it's long going to the gym, but the gym's like 8-10 minute walk away, fam. But that's in my head. Like I know that, so that's why I have to action the calisthenics. I don't know, it just feels long, but
yeah.
That, and when you listen to your thoughts, that's where you feel them, because emotions ain't supposed to make sense, and most of these thoughts ain't maybe yours. That's why they're making more nonsense. So just action changes generations. Even when you're being a human and you feel like you're losing, action's always on your side.
Yeah, definitely. I think the more
In terms of doubt, yeah. So just
like I think the more action you take, the less fear you're gonna feel. Action kills fear, and that goes for anything. Because even if you want to start something new, you want to try something, you want to take a risk, you're only gonna learn through experience. And that's the trap when people say, I can't start this because I don't know this, or I haven't done this. Is like, you only learn as you actually go with it. It's like when it goes to like, people talk about imposter syndrome, like that's not a real thing if you're actively taking things to become what you want to become. Because every person who's got to a high position in business, everyone who's changed who they are to have a different identity, you can never be that person to begin with. So anyone who's ever tried to change themselves to become anything, that would mean they're an imposter to begin with. So I don't think that's sort of like a real thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of terms nowadays that hold weight, but it's like water weight, like imposter syndrome. It really takes away the importance of having a goal, staying focused, working towards it, day and night, making sure it comes through. Sounds very masculine, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome. But I don't know, it's the day and age we live in, which is another thing. The main thing about even what you're saying about action, you take action, but your perspective and how you perceive things. There's a lot of things in the media, like the media is the main thing we take in. So it's your mind. Your mind is the currency. So again, know thyself, and then when you think you're right, you'll be right. I guess, because it's people doing wrong, thinking they're right, but making stuff worse. Because at the end of the day, we need to. I'm pushing to get a message across, but the message is love and the order, really, like God's order, I guess, and working towards that as a people. Just all the cliche, fairy tale, positive stuff that we grew up hearing, that we're growing up to realize there's actually a fight against. That's what I'm trying to push, really. So at the end of the day, we're helping each other out in the dark times.
What's your current take on the creative space in Birmingham? So obviously in Birmingham, there's a lot more opportunities coming now. The creative space has really advanced in the last year or so. More people are pushing to become photographers, videographers, singers, artists. So what is your current take on the creative space in Birmingham, and how do you see this progressing as we move forward with it?
It's always been bubbling.
Yeah.
But time had to pass. I feel like more people in Birmingham are realizing and actioning the potential we have, and I'm happy to see it, because it's actually been actioned, and we know how that goes. Energy in motion. So over time, I'm really excited, and we're working with most of the people here, and there's a lot more people to work with. So yeah, man.
How do you feel like the energy has sort of changed now? Do you feel like there's a new energy currently happening?
Yeah, that energy, it feels like reflection and COVID. COVID did that even.
Okay.
Because maybe 2 years after COVID ended, or a year or two, I did start to feel like a lot of actions was being taken that Brum was really lacking. So it was the equal opposite to what was there. So it kind of, it's like people are understanding that, yo, this is our town, our place, let's make some of it, let's bang it. So reflection. How do you feel about that yourself?
Yeah, for me personally, feeling the energy here and just seeing how they don't have as much resources and as much time as they want, but everyone still sort of bands together, whether it be the variety of networking events and different platforms that are available here, and just seeing people work so hard to, like, whatever their creative vision it is, just really honing on that, bringing it to life. And I'd say the art of collaboration, I think collaboration is something that plays a huge part in Birmingham. What are your thoughts around collaboration as a whole? Why do you think collaboration is so important for an upcoming creative?
Collaboration is very important because the nature of creating is when two things come together. So collaboration is good because when you make music yourself, it's you and the beat. So when you make music with people, it's like more ideas, you have more avenues. You can always get, if it's an appropriate collaboration, not forcing, but collaborations are always, I feel like you can get the upper hand because it's just more people, man. Like with skill sets that you don't have, like just perspectives and ideas, things that you would never put in your brain that come out of their mouth. Is like, wait, what? Oh, wait, I would never have thought of that.
Thank you, everybody. This has been Energy in Motion episode 4 with Karie. I'm going to touch on creativity, industry, and just give you more of a personal insight into the amazing artist that is Karie. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for the next episode. Energy in Motion.